Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, joined by Phil Chambers from WhatCulture ahead of our live stream for Survivor Series 2020 Brand Warfare, Team Red versus Team Blue. And we are here with all the news ahead of Survivor Series. And let's start off with some big news about some huge names, spoilers potentially, who are backstage for the whole Undertaker's final farewell. Is it his final farewell? We'll wait and see. Loads of stuff has been reported on this throughout this week. We already knew the likes of Kurt Angle, Ric Flair was going to be there, Rikishi was going to be there. He even posted a picture, I believe, over the weekend with all the BSK. So you've got the Godwins, you've got former referee Tim White. What a legend. Great to see him again. Savio Vega was there. Booker T was in the photo as well. Kane's also been reported as being backstage for this, obviously. And now PW Insider are reporting that the likes of Edge, Kevin Nash, The Big Show, and Mick Foley may well be backstage to be a part of the whole final farewell. Just as an addition to this, a great story coming out this weekend as well. Mark Calloway appeared on the Sports Illustrated Media podcast to talk about Taker's final farewell, and basically admitted he has no clue what is happening tonight. He said, "You've got as much knowledge as I do. The only thing I can safely say is at some point I will make an entrance and go to the ring and address the WWE Universe. And that is about as much as I know right now, to tell you the truth." I have no idea what to expect tonight, Phil, but by the sounds of it, lots of legends obviously are going to be involved.
Yeah, I think no matter what, it's going to be quite fun. I just genuinely just want them to bring back all of these legends just to turn them into druids for the Undertaker's entrance. And that is the only thing. Just like all of them, like Edge there with the fire. That would be brilliant. But yeah, generally, no idea what happened. The last time they did this, it turned into a roast of Triple H. So
oh,
who
God.
knows?
Oh, I'd wipe that from my memory. Yeah, a lot of speculation. I mean, like the casual wrestling fans that I know have been texting me over this weekend going, so is this it then? Is this, is he retiring or whatever? And I was like, I was telling about Andy Murray's line about how wrestling retirements don't exist because Terry Funk exists. And also the fact that it's a lovely story, obviously. 30 years of The Undertaker, finishing off at Survivor Series, where it all started. My issue with it is you can't have The Undertaker saying his final farewell in front of a screen of people when we all kind of know that, fingers crossed, by mid next year, we could be back to normal. So I don't think this is done and dusted. There may well be another match in it. For my money, I think he's going to be walking along. Remember that time when someone dressed up as a druid? Was it Cowboy Bob Orton Sr.? I can't remember. Ran out to attack him. Just have that, but he pulls the hood off. It's Rambling Rabbit. Then the Fiend attacks him. That's my prediction for tonight.
If that doesn't happen, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed now. But from one legend to some others, I guess, the Bella Twins. Not on quite the same level, but I'll do it anyway. They've been talking on their YouTube channel about a possible return to WWE. Will it happen? Won't it happen? When will it happen? Well, it's probably definitely going to happen, but judging by their words. But they're not sure when. They definitely want to return, but they want to make sure that their kids have grown up a little bit, obviously, because they've both just had brand new children. So they said that when their kids are about 2-ish, they might think about coming back. Brie commented that when she came back last time, she'd just had Birdie and she was sleep deprived, and then she was trying to train at home and at the same time trying to be a mum, and it was a lot, which obviously it's going to be. So they said in a couple of years they'll do it. But when they do it, they want it to be their main focus. They don't want to have something else going on. And on their bucket list is the women's tag team titles. So you may yet see the Bella Twins going after the tag team titles. Won't be in the next year, might be in 2 years, but it will happen at some point.
I was smirking. I do apologise there for laughing through a part of your story. I was smirking at the fact that they think there still is going to be women's tag team titles in 2 years.
That's a lot of faith there.
But yeah, it makes a lot of sense, this. And I think wrestling fans need to be more understanding with this sort of thing. I love hearing people going, so Becky Lynch will probably return at the Royal Rumble, won't she? She'll have literally just had a child. Like, I get it.
It's quite a lot of responsibility. It's a big thing.
Yeah, if you're a new dad, like I deal with the Dadleys on a daily basis and they're struggling and their kids are like, 5, 6, etc. But just, when it's the woman and they're like, yeah, come on, get back in the ring. Like, I completely understand. Now, I think enough time has passed that I would actually be happy to see the Bellas back in the ring. I think it wouldn't be one of those, you're just coming back for the sake of it, really, which I think they kind of can have been accused of in the past. But I think this makes a whole lot of sense. And if there are tag team titles still then, and they have any amount of prestige still attached to them, yeah, absolutely stick the titles on them. But as I said, I wouldn't hold your breath on that one quite yet. Let's transfer from WWE over to AEW, though. Some really good noises coming out of it recently. Tony Khan, big sugar daddy himself, was talking on Wade Keller's Pro Wrestling podcast. It's one of the best podcasts out there that isn't ours. Make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling to hear our review of Survivor Series. Me and Michael Hamflett doing our best ASMR impression in like the small hours of Monday morning to talk about what we thought about brand warfare. But anyway, yes, Tony Khan was on Wade Keller's Pro Wrestling podcast talking about some of the big names that are still to come in AEW, saying there's people still debuting on Dynamite and there's people that are working their way up on our roster on Dark that I'm really excited about. He said, then there's big names that nobody knows about that I'm talking to, so I've got a lot of aces up my sleeve. More sort of fuel to this fire of the changes that have been implied with AEW, Phil.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been hinting at the second TV show for a very long time now. Whether that ever comes, they're going to need more of a roster to be able to fill that out. But yeah, he just likes keeping people in, oh yeah, we've got stuff, we've got secrets, there's things happening. Just dangling carrots for everyone, which is not a bad thing to do, to be honest. Keep people talking.
Yeah. I think there is an element of pump the brakes, because you did say that, what was it, Moxley versus Hayden was one of the best matches you'd ever seen, and I was like, I don't know what you're watching there, TK. I'm sorry, mate, but yeah, big names. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever, and I think anytime you see someone's contract come up, whether they be a WWE superstar or someone from Impact, MLW, like, there's so much speculation about nowadays. I mean, there was people saying that Sting was going to make a random appearance Full Gear. So it's completely obvious that you could see more big names cropping up in AEW. And I'm really going to be annoyed, because I came up with it on a podcast with Sidgwick, if they don't call that second show on AEW Fuse. It's going to really be annoying if they don't call it that.
Yeah, this is true. There is no other name, really, when you think about it. But speaking of big stars that could show up on AEW, Chris Jericho was recently talking on his Talk Is Jericho podcast, because that's, well, what he does. He was talking to MLW owner Court Bauer, it's on that podcast, about the recent interactions he's had with Mike Tyson earlier this year. And he said in it that he is happy to have a boxing match with Mike Tyson on AEW. So he basically said, I've got a quote from it actually, which is just absolutely mental, about having a match with Mike Tyson. He says, "How bad can I get beat up by Mike Tyson that's worse than taking stiff shots from all these guys that I've been beaten up by over the years?" It's Mike Tyson, Chris. Like, that punch is going to be probably a lot harder than anything else you've had. He went on to talk about, obviously, the Big Show did his thing with Paul Mayweather. He talks about how he didn't really care about being legitimately hit. I guess it's the one-time thing. You'll get over it, I guess. But he talks about the Big Show thing. He said, like, the Big Show said about the Floyd Mayweather thing, "You can hit me and I'm fine. I'll be fine." I remember, the Big Show was talking about Floyd Mayweather. He told me that Mayweather hit him and Mayweather broke his nose. And Show was like, "I've had my nose broken by less before." So this is the level they're playing at here with punches in this thing. Mike Tyson versus Chris Jericho could well still happen on AEW. Obviously, Mike Tyson has his fight coming up with Roy Jones on November 28th, so it's not going to happen anytime soon. But at some point in the future, you'd assume when fans are back, because you're not going to be bringing up Mike Tyson versus Chris Jericho for no fans. Yeah, could still happen.
Like you say, a couple of things here. Like, I have no doubt it would do a huge number if you announced that Mike Tyson was going to box Chris Jericho, whether you do it on TV, pay-per-view, or whatever. It's going to do numbers. Like you said, that Tyson's now back training and preparing for that. I think it's a charity fight against Roy Jones Jr. Yeah. I couldn't remember when that was, so thanks for reminding me of that one. I would say this. Absolutely, Floyd Mayweather, probably one of the greatest boxers of all time, but not known for his knockouts.
Yeah,
on a regular basis,
incredibly hard
fight Tyson, where he just really lays it into the sort of one to the body, one to the head, and the uppercut. Like, if you're asking, oh, what's the worst you can do? How about you watch what happened with Butterbean at WrestleMania? Because there's your answer, Chris. I'd be really worried. Please don't take just don't say, oh yeah, well, hit me with yours, Mike Tyson, one of the most brutal knockout artists of all time.
He's probably
very worrying.
What was that
but
actor?
Entertaining nonetheless.
What was that actor at WrestleMania that Jericho was going to box?
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. He's probably still thinking about him.
Yeah,
it's like, it'll be fine. It's only like that, isn't it? It's Mike Tyson.
Yeah, ridiculous. But let us know your thoughts on that and everything we've discussed today in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, as I said, wherever you get your podcasts from. For daily wrestling podcasts, our review of Survivor Series, myself and Michael Ampert, will be out in a few hours' time. And join us for our Survivor Series live stream in a bit. We're recording this before we obviously do the stream. So join Team Red. Don't join Team Red. We haven't got a bloody chance. Basically, me and the Dadley boys are going to be buying Phil and Gareth as many passes as they want for Christmas because we haven't got a chance. But it'll be a fun ride nonetheless. And join us in a bit. I believe British time, GMT, 11 p.m. Is when the kickoff starts. And of course, there's the Battle Royal, which me and Phil were just debating whether or not they'll count in the scores. Who knows? But it's probably going to be Lars Sullivan winning it because he's a freak, Phil. I'm not sure if they've mentioned that. But anyway, yes, join us for our live stream in just a few minutes' time. But for now, my thanks to Phil Chambers. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.